Good evening. So as I mentioned, my name is Jennifer Bullard. I'm not quite as old as Mark, but I want to talk to you guys about being a technology leader. That is what I am. I am a leader in a technology industry. Who am I? 15 years in the game industry, over 15 titles shipped. I managed a live product for 2 years. That's a different experience than shipping in a box and not thinking about it anymore. I'm also the chapter chair for the Austin IGDA. What does that mean? It means that I help build communities here locally in Austin. And I'm also the founder of the Austin Game Incubator as of a couple of months. I'm going to help other startups and entrepreneurs. I got started in my industry as a QA tester on a lark, because back then nobody actually made games for a living. That was that weird thing that some guys did in their basement, and that was not me. And then three days later, I'm QA lead. And 3 months later, I'm the lead level designer, and I got promoted over people with 5 years of experience. And there's a couple of reasons why. I have written communication skills. Nobody else could read and write the English language at a high school degree. I'm not kidding. I could work in a team. I could communicate with other people. That's a real live skill that takes effort and training. If you've never worked on a project before, you don't know how to communicate with another human being. And communication is something besides yapping. It involves listening. I also was able to do critical thinking. One of the parts of being quality assurance and doing level design is thinking a little differently than everybody else. Asking why. What is the context of this? Why do we need this? I don't understand. You need to explain this to me better because I think we're going down the wrong path. And those are the qualities of a leader. And actually, this is how you will get hired, and this is how you will get promoted. If you don't have these skills, I, as a project manager, and I've hired over 300 people in this industry, I won't hire you. If you can't do this, you're not coming into my industry, because there are 50 people with the exact same skill set, the exact same grades in math, in programming, in art, and I need something to set you apart. Oh, and I also happen to have organizational skills. That's my project management. That's my technical skill. I can organize people in a time manner. A long time ago, I worked on a computer that didn't have this kind of processing power. It did not have wireless. As a matter of fact, wireless was not invented yet. This thing has better graphics, and it's also a phone. You can also see the difference in all the different platforms. Technology moves at a really rapid pace. You guys were really born into the technology era, so it's a little bit more normal from you, which is great. But you have to realize, in 2008, this was brand new. 2007, the company that I worked for GameSalad, was physically impossible to exist. And that's our industry. There are people out there who are going to have jobs, actually probably everybody in this audience, in 10 or 15 years that right now are physically possible to exist. Here's a good example. Google's coming up with a pair of glasses that will allow you to experience augmented reality. That's not a platform right now, but I bet in 5 years it will be, and I'll be making games for it. You either ride the wave or you get crushed by it. I have a friend of mine, high school degree, he worked for Blockbuster. Everybody used to have a Blockbuster card. Everybody used to be in Blockbuster all the time. And a couple of years ago, they pretty much shut down every single brick and mortar place they had. So his $50,000 a year job went away overnight because of a technology he wasn't even really aware of. You know, Netflix is brand new. Netflix now has competition with Hulu. Who's going to win? Not really sure. Maybe they'll both stay around. Some people were laughing at the CompuServe. You know, they used to be how you got on the internet. And then AOL came out with a better product. And then Google came out with a better product. In 10 years, somebody else who hasn't been invented yet will come out with a better product. So you have to be in the technology fields, because if you're not, there's a really high probability your field's going to be replaced by technology. You know, my dad got into being a mill worker in the 1970s. Well, they started replacing and automating his job. A lot of people, you know, their jobs either became automated or moved overseas. Nowadays, it's all technology. That's all that's available. Unless, of course, you want to be a service provider. And by service provider, we mean you're going to be doing, plumbing and carpentry and roofing and other construction type jobs. If that's not what you want to do with your life, then you better get into these kind of fields. You guys are getting into an entirely new era. I was talking about my dad and his world. My world, yeah, it's definitely a little more high tech, but I still expected to work for, say, the same company for more than a couple years. Like Mark, I've been laid off actually 5 times in the industry, so I've even worked a more volatile group of people. And that doesn't happen anymore. The company I last worked for couldn't have existed, 6, 7 years ago. And the first company, they folded after 4 years in. You guys are going to be facing the exact same thing whether or not you're in the video games. I'm watching other big companies, big stable things. The concept of a 100 or 200-year company is evaporating because like CompuServe and AOL, eventually somebody's going to beat your company out. So you're not going to be able to have that concept of, I'm going to go work for a single company and that's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Or I'm even going to stay in the same industry. I got into the PC market, and now I work on the mobile market. That's a totally different market, completely different mindset. It's all going to be project-based. And if it's project-based, that means you have to be able to operate as a contractor. Even if they hire you a salary and provide you with benefits, you still got to know when the project is over, there's a probability your job's going to be gone, and you got to be looking for the next one, which makes you and everybody in this room an entrepreneur, whether you like it or not. You need entrepreneurial skills. You need to be able to start up something new. If you've got a great idea and you want to pursue it, there are resources out there, and I highly encourage people to get out and try something different, something unique. Give it a shot. Talk about it. The dumbest statement I've ever heard in the entire industry, and I hear a lot of dumb things, is, I have this great idea for a project, and I go, great, tell me about it. Oh, no, I can't, you'll steal it. No, I won't. It could be the most brilliant idea ever. It's physically impossible for me to steal your idea. You want to know why? All ideas exist in execution. If you and I made a product, your product would be infinitely different from mine. Because I'm a different person, I have different experiences, I'm going to bring different creativity to it than you will. So everybody here, talk about your ideas. Because the cool thing is, if you get a whole bunch of people who are like, oh, that's kind of nice, I like that idea, well, good luck with that. You're going to know one thing, that's the worst idea you've had every day. Drop it and move on. But if someone goes, that's a great idea, and I bet if you did this, this, or this, and you went over here and talked to this person, that would be even better. Now you've got them engaged. Now they're listening to you. Now they're interacting with you. That is a good idea. Best way to validate an idea long before you sit down and put hours and hours of development into it is just talk about it with 20 people you know. We are a global community. I don't compete for people for jobs just here in Austin. I compete with Canadians, I compete with Germans, Japanese, Koreans, Chinese, India, Brazil, Chile. Those are the countries that I compete with. And those are the countries all of you are going to compete with. And you're going to add countries like Burmese and Mexico. You're going to be adding in, even smaller, more random places around the globe. Because as technology becomes brighter and more widely accepted as markets grow, they're going to develop technologists as well. So be prepared for that. Become bilingual, learn a couple of languages, be able to act intelligently across the ocean, across into the other countries, because it's going to be important for your long-term success. And of course, like I said, technology changes rapidly. What's existing today is not going to exist tomorrow, and what we haven't imagined yet, like, an underwater station, is going to be around in a couple of years, and you're going to be wondering how to build something for it, how to make a product. How do you keep people who have to make a 3-year journey in space entertained? How do you make a game for them that's going to evolve so they don't get bored and kill each other? Because that's actually one of the worst problems in space travel. I was looking at that, I was like, man, these people will have a problem, they're going to get bored, they're not going to do anything. I can make a video game for that. And this is an exercise I want everybody to go through on their own. I wish somebody had brought to me when I was your age. What do you want your life to be like? Don't ask yourself what you want your career to be. What do you want your life to be like? Do you want to live in Austin, or have you decided you want to live someplace else, or do you care? Not everybody cares. I wanted to get the hell out of my hometown. I would never want to go back, and I haven't been back. Do you want to be married? Do you want to have kids? That will definitely impact how you plan your career and your life. How many hours do you want to work? I'm in the game industry. I have yet to have a job that I work less than 50 hours a week. As a matter of fact, I think that's lightweight, and I have problems working less than 50 hours a week. What kind of hobbies do you want to do? If you're a hiker, probably the flat plains of Kansas is not for you. Those are things you want to think about because they will determine your career path. You have to pick a priority. Is family your number one priority? Do you need to stay near your immediate family? Is it something that you really, really want to focus on? Or is it your location? My father-in-law wanted to be a photographer, but all the jobs were down in the city, but he loved to live in the Adirondack Mountains. So he took a job he didn't like so he could live in a place that he loved. Are you like that? Or are you more about your career? And if your career is number one, be aware you're going to sacrifice other things for it. You're going to move away from your family. You're probably not going to have the prime location. You're going to have to be able to move around. Those are sacrifices that you make. And you have to be conscious of them, and you have to make decisions for them. If you're going to choose a career, make one that fulfills all of your dreams, not just your career dreams. It's really easy to look at the outside of an industry and go, man, that looks awesome. I want to do that. Are you sure? I have more people tell me I want to be a QA tester, and I almost always laugh because that's just funny. I did that for about 6 months, and God, I hated that. It's repetitive. It's awful. Anyway, I was playing the game that I actually loved, and it ruined the game for me. I won't play it anymore. I love the Heroes of Might and Magic series, and I can't play it anymore because I played it for 110-hour weeks for 3 months straight, and now I'm done. So you got to find a career that you're really going to like. You want to ask people what kind of hours they're working, what kind of college requirements are there actually, what skills and competencies. You know, I talked about teamwork and communication. Other people have skills and competencies that are required. One of the ones I didn't mention, you need to have a really strong grasp on personal finance, because if you don't, you're going to lose your house in between your layoffs. Those are important competencies to have. Ask people who are in those careers. Talk to them. Ask them where their industry is growing. You know, right now, you know where our industry is growing? China and India. People who can speak Chinese or any of the number 5 Indian languages, they have an advantage because those are growing markets, and in 10 years, they're going to far outweigh the US and European markets. Far outweigh. Other growing markets are the Latino and Latina communities. Those are huge. And then determine for yourself, will that career be good for your life? My parents always had opinions on what I was going to be and what I should do with myself. And when I picked this path, they were not happy. They were very unhappy and highly vocal about it. But I knew this is what I wanted to do, and I knew that I really loved it. So I made my choices, and I stuck to them because it suited what I wanted, not what Mom and Dad wanted for me. And that's something that's, you know, I'm from a big family, and that was not easy to break, but it's worth it. Because at the end of the day, it's your life, it's your career, you gotta live it, and you're in control of it. So invest in yourself. That's the most important investment you're ever gonna make. Pick a career that you really wanna go into, choose a college that you wanna live at. God, when you pick a college, remember you gotta live there. You know, if you're like, man, this college looks kind of cruddy, but I'm going to go anyway, just remember you're going to live in kind of cruddy for a long time, and that's kind of nasty. Technology is going to change. It's going to change right underneath you. You might be getting a degree in something, and I did this actually. I had a degree in industrial labor relations, and by the time I graduated, that was no longer the degree to get. So you got to be paying attention to things like that. You know, is your degree going to be applicable in a couple of years? Because you're not going to finish it for 2 to 4 years. And I want you guys to stand up here in 14 or 15 years, talk to another group of kids, get them excited about coming into your favorite career, be successful. Thank you.